Well, let's get back onto the football train. Coming up in the next segment, want to talk about a fall from grace that may make even Ryan Leaf move aside. But first, want to wrap up this conversation on the Pac-2 specifically and what people are expecting, what their emotions are
So
going into it.
weird.
One texter, I think, with a really candid response says, I renewed my season tickets for Oregon State for the 15th straight year as an alum, but I'm frankly still bitter and pissed. Oregon State was trending to a very respected top 30 program with Smith, and now that's gone, and nobody seems to care that we're relegated. I used to dream about a magical Rose Bowl season, but no more. I frankly have zero excitement about the season as I just don't know. Oh, it just moved. The text moved there, but I don't know what they're actually playing for. I hope things shake out, as you had referenced, for the better, and for myself, my family, and money we'll try to support as long as we can.
Yeah, my heart goes out to you because if you're a Cougar or a Beaver fan, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what positive spin. I know Rob was always trying to spin this as this isn't a horrible thing.
It's a disaster until they find a major conference.
Yes. I mean,
and maybe they find that home and maybe they don't.
I think it was Kerry Eggers or maybe it was Wilner. Someone today was going back and forth with someone on Twitter. And, they were talking about, it's not Portland State, okay? Let's stop with that. And Oregon State and Washington State for the next couple of years, they've got some money from the war chest that they can build it up. But, you realize that unless the Mountain West just completely collapses, you have to pay exit fees to all that. And if the Mountain West, completely collapses, then you're just the Mountain West. You need 9+ teams to leave and join with you to form a conference. If you just take 6 of them, you're going to have to use all of that money that you got from the Pac-12 settlement to pay the exit fees for all those teams. And look, the Mountain West TV contract pays out anywhere from like $3 to $5 million. So I'm sorry, but you're not getting a financial windfall. Let's say you add Oregon State and Washington State into it. Maybe you're getting 8, 9, 10. If you really wanted to go like to the high end, you're getting $10 million a year. And, you got the Big 12 right now in the ACC at 31 that are like, dude, we got to find a way to make more money. And you're going to be at 8 to 10. There's no way to slice this. And I know it seems like no one cares. I care.
Yeah.
I just don't know what there's nothing you can do. You got job.
You're waiting for more movement so that you can try to grab a better life raft.
Yeah, it absolutely stinks. And this season is hopefully, it ends up being a good year, wins and loss record. I don't know what you're playing for. You're not making the college football playoff. That gap between the Washingtons and Oregons, I'm afraid that especially the Civil War, it's not going to go well. I think I don't know what the spread is on that Civil War game. I don't know if you can make it high enough. I think that thing is just going to be that may be the one if you're an Oregon State fan that just pushes you over the edge because it's like what the 3rd week of the season, 3rd, 4th week.
Yeah, in September. Yeah.
It's in Reser, dude. If that Oregon team is what we think it is, and they roll into Reser and it gets bad, that may be the one that just finally breaks Oregon State's back.
In May, that number was 20.5.
Yeah.
So expecting a 3-touchdown game in that one. And the thing is that what you outlined, the financial aspect of it, it's not that I don't believe that they could have a better landing spot at some point, but without recouping those finances of being in the big conference, how long can you afford to fall behind?
Well,
because the gap grows every day that you're not getting that revenue.
Well, but I don't know where that landing spot is. Like, it's pretty safe to assume at this point that if the Big 12 is to expand, it's not West. They're expanding East. They're going to grab ACC teams. The Big 12, their next expansion will be if the ACC crumbles and they're going to go grab ACC teams. They're not coming out West. They're just not. I haven't seen one thing with the Big 12 coming out. The Big 12 had an opportunity. They could have had you. They could have had Cal. They could have had Stanford. They didn't want them. Like, it's just I don't understand at what point the Big 12, who isn't getting a bigger piece of the pie, is going to want to continue to slice that pie with 2 teams that they looked at originally and were like, no. So in what world does that happen? So if it's not the Big 12, and I haven't seen one thing that it is, there just isn't a boat coming.
Yeah.
The only thing coming is a raft, and that raft is the Mountain West. And whether that's rebuilding. So if you don't know, the Mountain West, there's 2 options. And that is the Mountain West dissolves. They get 9 teams to say, we're done, and no exit fees. Everyone's gone. Mountain West ceases to exist, and they only do that if they agree to a merger. So you take the 9 or 10 best teams from the Mountain West, you put the 2 in, maybe, just maybe, if the ACC were to crumble, you can get Cal and Stanford back. Probably not, because they would join the Big 12. But that's your conference. And again, you're looking at $8 million a year in your TV deal. Or the Mountain West doesn't want to dissolve, and you go pick 6 teams from the Mountain West, and you have to pay each one of those teams their exit fee. So all that money that you built up in the war chest at that point is gone. You'd have to pay all those teams. And then your TV deal with 8 teams, again, I don't know if that's better or worse, but you're still in that $8 to $10 million range. There is no boat coming. And that's what sucks, because those programs are better than that. Your programs are better than Stanford and Cal. They just are. Over the last Stanford had their run there where, but that a run appears to be over. But this is, so I wish I could tell you that things were somehow magically going to get better. And by the way, I'm not saying that I'm the Kreskin and I can see every outcome, but I don't.
It's hard to see where this story has a happy ending.
Yeah, I don't see it. I want there to be one, but I don't see the savior. It's not making sense.
Do either of you think that, and this does seem to essentially be like one of 2 options for both of these schools, it's either a Mountain West, Pac-2, whatever you want to call that combination, or waiting for one of these conferences? And obviously everybody wants the latter, but do you see basically any shot of what conference has already expanded to the West, the Big Ten, with some realignment here in a few years? I'm just trying to, answer the question. You say, what are the Beavers playing for this year?
Why?
Exactly. No, I don't know why they would do that, but you're asking about a scenario.
Just remember, every time that you add a team, you have to split the pie. Realize that the Big Ten looked at Oregon and Washington and went, no. They have partial shares. Like, very, very partial shares, and not for 1 or 2 years, for like 6. Like it's to I think it's to the next TV deal. It goes up a little bit, but they looked at Oregon and Washington and were like, no, we're not giving you. So, again, the only reason you move west is for TV slots, right? TV slots and eyeballs.
I guess the chance I was thinking of is that maybe a little bit more realignment between the Big 12, SEC, and Big 10. Maybe out Midwest is happening, which gives room. As you're saying, ACC teams are coming because that conference is dead. And the Big 10 does, I would say, see an advantage of having those other 2 West Coast schools within their portfolio with Oregon and Washington.
What?
I get it. No, there's really no actual benefit, but eventually I think Oregon State is playing to hang on for 2 years for that hope, essentially. And that's all they've got.
I'm sorry. There is no scenario where the Big Ten and their $90 million a year that they hand out to teams comes knocking at your door.
No.
And
just wondering.
That's like me sitting around saying that one of these days Salma Hayek or Halle Berry, one of those 2, really feel like one day they're going to wake up.
Yeah,
and
the
be
SEC could come calling as well.
It'd be Pink, maybe. She's going to really look out here and be like, you know what she's been missing? This mediocre small market radio host.
I bet you could get Pink.
Washed out practice squad NFL player with bad knees. My terrible, terrible knees.